Thank you for coming. Back I like doing the fairly talking. Like the wildflowers takes less of a priority in life. So a couple of years ago, or well, for the past couple of years, the lunch conversation in our group has sort of gone like this, and many of you know that Sarah will mention something about one of her bunnies. And then,
cute.
Yeah, and then in the past, Hans would say something like, I really like eating bunnies, and then Andreas would start spouting off a recipe about a bunny recipe that he made once. And it would spiral down from there, and I personally take no blame for this whatsoever. I would just watch it happen. It would be great.
I would see tears.
So she left 1 week to go home. I don't remember why, but it happened to be a week where Mark and D-Ling and I and a couple other people went to Henrico State Park, and I got this little wildflower guide and spent most of the time looking at wildflowers. So the 1 week she was gone, we talked about nothing but wildflowers at lunch. No eating rabbits, no eating guinea pigs or whatever they do in Peru, that sort of thing. So this is, hopefully this makes up for it a little. There's no, well, actually, rabbits were harmed in the making of this talk, if you ask me, but I'll get there. Okay, so.
This would be the last SASS talk I ever come to.
Oh no.
Because of me. Okay, so I started making this talk. It's actually amazing, like how many different facets of wildflowers there are to look at. So it's, there's what you think of, which is just kind of walking down a trail and being like, bam, 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 I know all these flowers. And you're not going to get that out of this talk because it's kind of hard and it would be boring just for me to sit here and scroll through flowers and tell you what their names are. But I'll give some tips on identifying flowers, some flower vocabulary in terms of the botany, some examples of interesting ecosystems. So I actually chose our state rock and lithographic emblem and our state soil and how they interact with flowers as two examples. And then I'll just go through some pictures of flowers. And hopefully, I've got them kind of organized by family. So one thing that I've begun to be able to do, and I'm no encyclopedic expert on wildflowers by any means, but I have started to develop a feeling for if I look at a flower, I might have an idea of whether it comes from the pea family or the buttercup family, or there actually is a pink family of flowers. So I don't have any of them. I don't have any of them here, but if you want to Google pink family flowers, you will get something ACA in Wikipedia, and they're actually not that attractive. And it's not that all pink flowers are in the pink flower family. Okay, so this is the little Wildflowers of Henrico State Park book that I got, and I meant to bring it in, but since I forgot that this morning, I just put a picture of it in here. And this costs, I think I bought it for $3. It's now up to $3.25. And if you're walking down the trail, it will have almost everything that you see. So this is a great starting point. This is what I call the soft core flower identification method. And also, if that's too much money for you, I have some common plants of Jasper Ridge and plant list and stuff like that you can take for free if you want one. So that's a great way to just get an idea for what's out there. The medium core way to identify wildflowers is with your typical field guide. This is like Introduction to California Wildflowers, and I have some other ones that are like Wildflowers at Edgewood Park, which is right around here. And then the hardcore way is the Jepson Manual of Higher Plants of California. And if you get this, you need to get your field guide carrying case. And this says custom book covers for field guides, the Jepson Manual. So this is actually custom made for the Jepson Manual. And you put it on like a jacket, and then it has little handles that you can carry around. So this is, if you really want to distinguish between like two identical plants that are supposedly of different species, you can flip through this 2,000-page book. I've actually never opened this except for that. Anyway. So yeah, so that's sort of my advice for if you want to go on a hike and something. Okay, so I thought I'd start with like some flower vocabulary. This is an idealized flower. There are many idealized flowers, or at least some idealized flowers. If you want a great example, the passion flower is just perfect. So you have your stigma, which is the female reproductive organ, and you can remember that because there's a ma at the end. And the stamen is the male reproductive organ, and that is a men at the end. So I don't know if that's why they came up with the names, but they're kind of convenient that way. And then usually the color stuff is petals. That's not new to anybody. But sometimes the colorful stuff is also sepals. And I'll show you in a second what the sepals are there for. And then below the sepals are something called bracts, which are modified leaves that are by a flower. Oh, and in the middle, when the pollen goes from the stamen to the stigma, it travels down and fertilizes the egg or the ovary. Oh, that didn't come out very well at all. Okay. Well, anyway, I'm gonna just show you guys what these are. This is the stigma, and this is the stamen, and this is a pretty idealized flower. So, right there. Okay, so what do the sepals do? The sepals actually protect the bud. So when this guy is blooming, here's your bud, and here's your sepals. So that's how they differ from petals. The petals are all folded up in here, and the sepals are kind of what encloses it. So as for bracts, there's one really well-known example of bracts, especially this time of year, is the poinsettia. So all these colorful leaves, most of the leaves on this plant are green, but near the flower, the leaves are red. So these are actually bracts, and then you have these funny little flowers in the middle. Kind of weird. So when I saw this, I thought, oh, okay, so that means that when you have like a compound flower, like a sunflower, that all these guys in the middle are actually the flowers, and then these guys are bracts or sepals or something too. That's actually not the case. Compound flowers are two different kinds of flowers, which are disc and ray flowers. And I tried to find a definition for like which is which, but it seems to be kind of like that corn for porn statement that you just know it when you see it. Like these are disc flowers and these are ray flowers. No, actually I have that backwards. These are ray flowers and these are disc flowers. I mean, they're really different, but like I found a diagram, and it was like the diagram shows what the difference is. But I couldn't find the definition of which was which. So compound flowers are all one family. Actually, this family, but yeah. So on the outside, this is actually one flower that contains many, many flowers. So if one flower can make more than one seed, it's a compound flower. It actually consists of many flowers.
What are all the little butterflies?
Little butterflies, I don't know. So, oh, by the way, pretty much all the images in this talk I stole. Some of them I stole from people I know, others on Google, and butterflies. So almost, actually, I think none of the pictures are mine. That explains the little butterflies sprinkled around.
I think it's just fantastic.
Well, I'd love to be there for you. Okay, so I just did this. There's like so much flower vocabulary, you can't even wrap your head around it. There's like rhizomes and runners and all sorts of stuff, and it's hard to figure out what the differences are between them. And you have to like talk to an actual botanist. So this is just like a taste of the vocabulary. But one piece of vocabulary I really like is the ovary position. So they classify it as if the ovary is above the flower, it's a superior ovary, and if it's below the flower, it's an inferior ovary. And the reason I like this is because apparently during some Jasper Ridge tours, this has offended some people. I mean, it just refers to the position, but nevertheless, the term inferior ovary has offended some people. So this brings up. Oh no, it doesn't. Okay. So this is the Mariposa lily, and you can see that the ovary where the egg would be produced is actually, if you're like looking at the flower, you can like look down at the ovary. So that's a superior ovary. Whereas this is a Clarkia, I think, and the ovary is down here. So the flower's gonna fall off, and the seed will be right there. So certain things like tomatoes, you have the tomato grow from the blossom end, and then it has a bottom end. So that would be